name is Helaman. I am the captain of Stripling Warriors, and I'm here today to tell you what has been taking place in this land. Some time ago, I discovered that my friend Antipas, who is also a Nephite captain, residing in the city of Judea with all our Nephite people, were in grave circumstances. I was out of soldiers. All of my young soldiers had been killed in battle, and we needed more help. Many Nephite men came to me and said they would go with me into battle. But these were the same men who had made a covenant many years earlier that they would bury their weapons of war in the earth and never fight again. But due to the nature of the battle taking place between the Lamanites and the Nephites, they decided it was best to consider taking up their arms and going to battle with me to protect their land and their people. But I did not feel that would be best. It is never wise to break a covenant with the Lord, and we felt that if they kept that promise and that covenant, we would be more blessed than if they broke it. But these men had young sons that were just remarkable. And these young men came to me one day and asked, Helaman, if you will be our captain, we will go with you into battle. We will be your soldiers. They were remarkable young men. I made them all raise their arm to the square and covenant to follow me and to obey the commandments and to obey every charge and every command that I gave them. They agreed that they would go with me into battle to protect their land, their homes, and their families. There were 2,000 of these young men. I called them my Stripling Warriors. In the city of Judea, where the Nephites were preparing for war against the Lamanites were all about in the land about, preparing to attack that city, when their spies saw me and my 2,000 warriors march to the city of Judea. Those Lamanite spies went back to their own captains and told them we had come to help out. They decided not to attack. We had arrived just in time. Antipas, that Nephite captain in charge of the city of Judea, was grateful to see us arrive. I had 2,000 of my young soldiers with me as we showed up to that city to prepare for battle. Because now the Lamanites would not attack because of the additional forces that we had brought, they laid back into their city of Antipara and prepared for future battle. We gathered provisions and we also prepared. Other Nephite soldiers came to help us out. The months went by as we prepared for what ultimately would be a great battle. We wanted the Lamanites to come out to us, to come attack us in our strongholds, but they wouldn't do it. And of course the Lamanites, they wanted us to come out of the city of Judea and attack them in their stronghold. We also would not do that. So as time went by, we just continued to make preparations for battle. Then one day, Antipas came to me and said, Helaman, here is a plan that we should do. You take your 2,000 Stripling Warriors and you put provisions on your back as if you're going to take provisions to another city. And you take your 2,000 warriors and you march right past the city of Antipara where the Lamanites are. I will take my thousands of soldiers. Combined, we had about 10,000 Nephite soldiers now. I had my 2,000 sons, and he had approximately 8,000 soldiers. He said he would take the majority of them and hide in the land round about Antipara. If we could march past the city of Antipara with me and my 2,000 soldiers, we knew they would come out of their stronghold and come out after us. We could lure them away far enough that once they got away from the city gates, Antipas and his soldiers from the rear would come up from behind. Me and my soldiers in the front would turn around, and we would have the Lamanites caught right in the middle, and certainly we could destroy them all. Under the direction and charge of Antipas, the next day, I gathered up my 2,000 Stripling Warriors. We put the provisions on our back, and we took to our march, straight out across the land, past the city of Antipara. Certainly we knew their spies would be out in the land about, and as they saw us coming, indeed, they went back to the city and told their Lamanite captains we were on the march. I took the young man and marched all the way across the land on the first day, right past the city. And exactly like Antipas said would happen, the gates came open and those soldiers came out and started marching out after us. There were so many of them, we became afraid. Now they did not know that in the land backward was Antipas and his many thousands of soldiers. We took to a march, and we marched as straight as we could go. We knew that if we turned right, they would cut us off, or if we turned left, they would cut us off. We had to march in a straight line, and as we lured them out and they got far enough away, indeed, Antipas took the march from behind to come up behind the Lamanites. They turned, and in the great distance, they could see Antipas and the Nephite soldiers coming up from behind. They knew they could not get back to the city of Antipara. Our plan had worked perfectly. I had my boys in the front, and we marched as hard and as fast as we could. The Lamanites now had a decision to make. They knew that collectively there were more of us than them. They only had one choice: march as fast as they could and catch up to us and destroy us, for their numbers were greater than my 2,000. Then they would be able to turn and contend with Antipas and his soldiers from behind. So they increased the pace of their march, coming after us. We marched all the day long into the night. They did not overtake us, and Antipas did not overtake them. I commanded my young 2,000 warriors to bed down and rest, except I sent him and him and him into the woods. Do not let them sneak up on us in the middle of the night, for if they do, we shall surely all be destroyed. That was the end of the first day. We were exhausted and worn out and tired. We had marched so hard and so fast. On the morning of the second day, even when the sun was just barely coming up, those spies come running back. My spies came running back into camp, saying the Lamanites were already up and pursuing us. And in the great distance, Antipas and his thousands were already up pursuing them. I gathered them all up, and again, we took our march, and we marched straight away. We did not dare turn right, lest they overcome us, nor did we turn left. We marched in a straight line, and the Lamanites marched in a straight line after us. And Antipas increased his march, knowing that if they overtook us, we would surely die. For we only had 2,000s, they had many thousands. We needed Antipas to catch up. We marched that way all day long again, through the entire second day, so long and so fast, we were exhausted again at the end of the second day, when I had my young men bed down to rest. The Lamanites had not overtaken us, but neither had Antipas overtaken them. Again, I sent out men to watch. Do not let them come upon us in the middle of the night, for if they do, we shall surely die. It was the morning of the third day when I got the young men up. Immediately the spies were coming back into camp, and for indeed, those Lamanite soldiers were already after us again. We took to the march as quickly as we could, and we could tell in the distance Antipas was pursuing the Lamanites. We marched as fast as we could, again, not turning right, nor were we turning left, but in a straight line, lest they overtake us and destroy us. We came up over a hill just like this one here. This hill right here, we came to a valley and stopped to rest. We turned and looked backwards, expecting any minute for the Lamanite soldiers to come up over the crest. We waited, and they did not come. We waited and rested, and they still did not come.